it's great because we're amongst friends, and I love that. So we can just kind of chat, and this is going to be informal and kind of fun. And it's just funny how nowadays everything is kind of going virtual for a minute, and hopefully it'll be a minute, and then we can move on back to our normal lives with the theater. But since we had to postpone our 2020 production of The Tempest, Shakespeare in the Park, this weekend we would have been doing The Tempest had COVID-19 not struck. So I thought, what a great way to just at least celebrate Shakespeare, celebrate theater. Just watch the video, and it's not quite the same as live theater. But one of the neat things that I like about this opportunity of just doing Zoom theater basically is that we have this crazy reach where we can reach across the country. Like, it's something that it's allowing us to reach different people. So we have our friends from all over the country joining us tonight to watch a video together. And I just think that's cool because that's just kind of making us more connected. And so I think it's interesting how during this pandemic, we're learning to still connect. And so even though this is kind of our first go at this and it's kind of a trial to see how this works, but I like the opportunity. And so I'm like, let's do it. Let's just try it and see how it works. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to share a show together and from the comforts of our home. So that's kind of fun. So anyway, since we have some of our creatives on the Zoom, I thought we could just chat a little bit about the process and get a little insight about what we actually did last summer with Hamlet. So I'm going to actually start off with Justin. So Justin, I'm going to chat with you first.
Sure.
Yes. So anyways, okay, so the cool thing about this show is really awesome, but one of the things that I really loved about it was the fact that you took this rock take with it, and that you partnered with Skillern with the music, and that we had this really cool underscore, and they had this real edge to the story that was different than a traditional Hamlet is portrayed. Do you want to talk a little bit about why you chose to go that direction artistically?
Yeah, I think when we decided we wanted to do Hamlet, I didn't like a lot of versions that are recorded and out there that I've seen. I love the Benedict Cumberbatch version like quite a lot, and I think artistically it's done very well. But I just find a lot of them boring and not as active. And getting Josh on board early on, one of the things we discussed was we really want to make a Hamlet that was very active. And I kind of just stuck around the genre of like destruction. And that's kind of what continuously came to mind when I was, and we lost him. Oh no, he's still here. That's just continuously what came to mind when I was thinking the theme of the piece was just some kind of destruction and revealing the impurity of this cover up. And that kind of landed me in a little bit of the 90s and very much in this grunge era of rock, which rock music was always on the opposite ends of the spectrum of whatever was happening in especially in America, in our country. And the 90s era of grunge was a really large spectrum. And I really wanted to kind of go there with design, with music, but also the set as well. So you'll see in the recording, the set starts out pure white and just kind of as an idea of like a new slate, a new king. Everything is clean and good, but underneath it is murder and deceit. And Hamlet, as he goes through the entire piece, Josh and I landed for him to continuously paint throughout as like graffiti kind of thing, showing the taintedness of the piece and revealing, I guess, just the torture that is happening inside of him. And those kind of things really relate to the grunge era music, which I pseudo grew up with. And that's kind of where we really landed. And I think the early 90s is a super cool era. It's very, very specific in style, and it just really played into this reconceptualizing a Shakespeare.
I love it. The cool thing too that you did, you worked with the dark and light elements of the costuming. So there's times when people are dressed all in white. There's times when people are all in black. Can you speak a little bit into that as well?
Yeah, so we started Hamlet. I mean, Hamlet is kind of known as the one of the most depressing, I guess, characters. But honestly, he starts a show off in mourning, and so I wanted to show the opposition to it, where like his inner torture is filled with darkness, and just his inner self is just filled with so much, and he doesn't know how to express it. Where the rest of the kingdom at the time is celebrating this new king. Everybody's sad that Hamlet's father died. Nobody knew how. But like the new king is wearing white, but he's still got this really grungy crown to him, and you know, Hamlet's mother's in white. Everybody's looking really good, and he just has this darkness just continuously surrounding him. And then as the piece continued on, I really wanted to show when he decides to put on the act to be crazy, that it's the opposite. He puts the white on, but it's just spattered paint, blood, just craziness all around him. I think we added that his little cardboard crown like a couple days before we opened, just to give him a little bit more pop to him, but just to show the taintedness that the set is starting to show about the time that he starts depicting this madness, and it goes into his costume as well.
That's awesome. Well, I'm going to switch over to Miss Karis. Is she on?
Here.
Okay, yay!
There they are.
There they are. Okay, so Miss Karis played Ophelia, which is amazing. And you did a fantastic job, by the way. Fantastic performance. What did you like most about portraying her?
The first time I read Hamlet was in high school, and ever since then, Ophelia's kind of been like one of my dream roles. So I was always intrigued by the prospect of playing the insanity in opposition to her innocence throughout the course of the piece. And it was just wonderful fun getting to play opposite my husband. Yeah, so it was the best possible scenario for playing her, I think.
Yeah,
for sure.
So the show is really beautiful, and I love your portrayal, and I like how Justin just really gave you some freedom and some fun with the character. But what is really interesting is her death scene and her dance with death. And it's beautiful, and I can't wait for you who have not seen the show yet to see that. It's really a powerful moment. So there was choreography involved with that scene. Did you feel as an actor that complicated your acting process, or did it enhance it, and how?
I feel like it enhanced it because it was kind of like a situation where we're taking Ophelia out of the physical scene and seeing what's going on inside her mind.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing the insanity, the darkness, like pulling at her, and it's a private moment of letting her internal character come out alive on stage, beyond just being crazy on stage. It was a very personal way to portray her madness, and I really, really enjoyed it.
It's beautiful. It's one of my favorite moments in the show. It's absolutely stunning. I love it. Yes, that is great. So when we're watching this today, are there any moments that we should look for? Like either little moments that you're like, oh, this was a moment where this would always make me giggle, or this is something that you might not notice, but it's a really powerful moment. Do you have any little insights to the performance?
I'll think on it.
There you go. I threw you for a loop. All right, Josh, you're up.
There.
So, okay, so I don't know if there are going to be people here probably on this Zoom that don't know that since you starred as Hamlet on our stage at Chad Fuqua, you got an opportunity to go to an amazing school. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that and your experience there with that program?
Yeah, I got accepted into the Academy for Classical Acting in Washington, D.C. with the Shakespeare Theatre Company at George Washington University. So it's a bit of a mouthful, though. That's a one-year MFA program designed for classical actors to come and train with faculty from the Shakespeare Theatre Company and train in DC, which has a huge theater. It's second to New York, pretty much, as far as growing equity contracts at this time. So to really get immersed into intense training, and it's a one-year MFA program. So it was 20 credits a semester for 3 semesters back to back, with 18 of us crammed into one little studio all day. And it was an incredibly immersive physical program, which I really, really loved, with a lot of, we had, everything from studying Shakespeare and studying classical text and acting, of course, but also getting exposed to neutral mask and Pilates and conditioning and movement and voice and body work, with a little bit of Linklater and Lesac, and on a very, very intense and high level, which was really great. And also some Alexander technique, which absolutely loved. So getting exposed to a lot of cool techniques there at a really high level in DC, day in, day out for an entire year, which was absolutely extraordinary. And I was really fortunate to be there as a non-bachelor degree holder. So everybody else had a bachelor's degree, but I was accepted as a certificate student to be able to come and train with them. So I was really, really fortunate and blessed. And it absolutely served me well, and I loved the experience.
That's awesome. So now, watching your performance before having that intense, amazing training, if you could go back to yourself and say, okay, this is what you should be doing, what would you say to yourself in your performance?
Right.
Your performance is amazing, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, there's definitely, there'll always be, I'll watch every performance and I'll always say, and there's always like, oh, there's moments, right? We say, oh, I could have been a bit more authentic there. Or I could have connected more with that. And having had the training, I have a whole lot more information and knowledge and experience in the process of building a character out of the text, on how to make things of the Shakespearean language make more sense in a modern day context, and really, really like in delving into the research behind it and the history of these people, these characters, this world that Shakespeare wrote, and how does that form the process and the acting. So obviously there's like, oh, I would hopefully be more specific, more engaged, more intention and all of that. But as far as like a big thing that I would, a general like overall note that is also specific throughout would be tension. You'll see in the show that, and like I remember like trying to portray the intensity. It's a very, very, as Justin said, it's a very, very active piece. There's a lot of movement. And there's a very big contrast between Hamlet as sane and Hamlet and his madness, where he becomes a little bit more animal-like. And we studied that. And a lot of the cast, we did some viewpoints and we did a lot of movement. And with the choreography of the dancing, working with Corey Briggs, our choreographer, like we brought a lot of really cool movement pieces to this. But I went home every single night incredibly sore and just kind of like beat up my body with crawling around the stage. And so the Alexander technique that I learned there would have been huge to go back to that and to be able to learn how to open my body and open my voice versus trying to create tension and trying to create like, that's tension where that's not going to be reading on stage, where it might feel good as an actor, like, oh, I'm being really tense in this scene, but it's actually not necessary because that's not what we want to communicate is tension. We want to communicate intention, right? And so definitely be able to preserve my body and not go through so much strenuous in my back and my arms and my limbs, to be able to really, really open up and creating more space within inside the body to be able to portray what I'm trying to portray at that moment or what I'm trying to connect to. So
amazing. Y'all blow my mind. All right, so I have a question for both of you guys. So you are both currently teaching theater, but you're doing it in a very unconventional way. So Karis and Josh, would you like to share kind of what you're up to nowadays and how virtual theater is actually directly affecting both of you right now?
Yeah, so we're right here, and we're in Murfreesboro, Tennessee right now with the Institute for Cultural Communicators, where we help ordinary students become extraordinary leaders, and we use a lot of public speaking and storytelling and through communication to train students. And normally we would be on a tour with our 7 young adults. They're all 18, 19 years old. high school graduates. We would be touring around the country teaching conferences, Communicators for Christ conferences, as we seek to be ambassadors for Christ and learn how to communicate well and lead well. And a big part of why we were brought in this year is the training that I have through storytelling and our artistic to be able, because we do use a lot of stories and presentations and such. But now, since we can't tour around the country, we're doing online virtual conferences. And so we are helping this team with teaching online. We had in different time zones, actually. So we had Pacific time zone a few weeks ago, and then Central time zone. And right now we're preparing for this weekend for our East Asia time zone. We're having students this weekend come from Singapore, the Philippines, Malaysia, and Indonesia. So and we're on that time zone right now. So it's morning. We just had breakfast, actually. We slept all day. And we're going to be up all night here as we're adjusting our bodies as if we actually did do the travel. So that's been really cool as far as that. But yeah, we're finding out that teaching online here actually has so much more potential because, as you said, Tina, we can reach everybody. The fact that we can still do this, and we're going to be connecting with dozens of students and coaches in East Asia time zone, and then the weekend after that we're going to New Zealand, which is pretty great. But yeah, so it's been an amazing experience. That the feedback we're getting is that people who have been to our in-person conferences before are getting far more out of these online digital conferences. I don't know whether that's just because the comfort of their home, the fact that it's more accessible, the fact that more people can come, and parents who are seeing their 8-year-olds and their 10-year-olds and their 15-year-olds online here, the way that they're still able to engage and do all these activities and learn how to present and do all these things when they probably aren't getting that anywhere else at this time, as many other programs aren't able to adjust as smoothly, or they're just not signing up for them because they thought it's on Zoom. Like, that's not going to be the same experience. That's not going to be good. So we've been really fortunate to have this experience to lead, and we're finding that it's definitely different. It's definitely not easy to stay engaged and to stay with people all day on a conference, but we're loving. There's so much cool things that you can do on the camera with our presentations and such, and the fact that transitions and exits and entrances are like that, it's absolutely extraordinary versus on a stage, where you have all that to deal with, and you have mics and such, and so the audio. Now there are technical difficulties that come with that, of learning how to that. But yeah, we set up a studio in one of our rooms, multiple cameras, and we are on the production team to help teach and lead them to do the most of the teaching.
Well, he's teaching. I'm doing all the sets and costumes.
Yes, so she's doing a lot of that work.
As I do.
Yeah.
Yes, that's awesome.
It's very collaborative, and we're blessed to be doing that together here as an opportunity. Because when I finished school, my last 19 weeks were online, like many people, and transitioning, and nothing was available in DC because DC shut down. And I reached out to my contact here, and they said, "Yeah, we'd love to have you on board for this." So we were very fortunate that finished school, wrapped that up, and came out here. So
that's awesome. And you're really quick before we head to the video, you also had another virtual experience because, like you said, everything shut down. So you guys still had your big productions that you had lined up. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that? Yeah,
so at the end of the last semester of my school, it was supposed to be 3 shows in rep performed in DC for 3 weeks. That was kind of like the final project. And that obviously got canceled, and that had to go away. But we still wanted to be able to do something. And our faculty at the time wasn't really behind Zoom plays. They just didn't think that was a medium that we wanted to dive into because everything had been so in person, and we did Zoom for classes and such, and that was fun to learn that. But we also then dived into some voiceover work with Lisa Belay, our voice teacher, who's done many voiceover projects in animation and such, which was really cool to be able to learn that. Say, okay, well, we can't do stuff in person. What can we do that's still a huge medium in theater is voiceover work for video games and movies and animation and audio and radio theater. And that got us thinking, well, let's do some radio plays. So we actually produced 3 full feature-length radio plays. We did Hamlet, Romeo and Juliet, and Man and Superman by Bernard Shaw. So we did a little bit, still classical, but they like to have a slightly different, instead of all 3 Shakespeare. And I got to play Jack from Man and Superman, and then Tybalt and in Romeo and Juliet, and some other characters in that. And so that was really, really fun to all us having our own studios and to learn how to build an home studio with mics and such. And yeah, I was in a closet with padded pillows and such, and how to really transition and bring all of the physical work right here to the mic, and how to be intimate with that mic and get across the screen. And it was incredibly challenging, but so worthwhile. And they were able to fully produce those with Foley work. Foley work was really, really, really fun to have those. And you can find those at ACA, Academy for Classical Acting.com. We have those, they're still up there. So it was really, really cool to be able to have that and still have a final project, and something that can, you know, I've learned a lot through that, and that knowing I'll always have live theater eventually, right? That was an experience I'll miss, but this is something really, really unique. That's like how many times, you know, I might not be able to have 2 radio plays and play these characters right now, but that's something that we chose to do, and it was really worthwhile and really, really fun.
That's absolutely amazing. And the cool thing about that too, like you said, that's such a transferable skill. Like you could use that in so many different opportunities, and that may have been something that you didn't explore, but because of the situation, it's making the best out of a bad situation. Yeah. I think that's very awesome. So how cool. Well, does anybody have any questions before we start our play? At the end of the play, Jess and I will be hanging out, and so we will answer questions, and I will be manning chat as well during the show. So like if you have a question during the performance, you could just chat away, and we'll just kind of go that way, and it'll be kind of fun. And again, it'll be a way to be interactive, but we can watch the play together. Before we go and we watch it, I want to acknowledge our creative team. We had an amazing team of actors and creatives, and it was just fantastic. But I want to just highlight our creative team. Of course, Justin Abels, our director, Chris Skillern, who is our musical composer. So we have original rock music that you guys are going to see in this production. Ian Lallam was our set designer. Tori Hurley and Mariah Garrett on lights. Peter Gibbons was our audio engineer. Brian Huff was our fight choreographer, and Corey Briggs was our choreographer in some of the really cool moments that you're going to see. I also want to say thanks to everyone over at the City of Hollister Park and Rec Department. They are always so wonderful to work with. And especially Denise and Bridget, they are rock stars, and they just make everything so smooth and are so accommodating to us whenever we are out there. And of course, Jim rocking this thing right here, yeah! And Branson Regional Arts Council, and they are always so wonderful to partner with. And I'm just so thankful that we have this opportunity to watch this together, and thanks for making that happen, Jim. Really appreciate that. So one last thing, I just want to say a special thank you to Nate Frank. He was the one that videotaped this. So we have this copy now forever. So we can watch it whenever we like. And so that's really cool that he videotaped this for us, so that we have this opportunity to watch this, and we can watch it again and again. So thanks to Nate, and I'm ready to rock and roll with Hamlet if Jim's ready to play.
Who's there?
They answer me. Stand and unfold yourself.
Long live the king.
Bernardo,
He.
come most carefully upon your hour.
Francisco. And if you do meet Horatio and Marcellus, the rivals of my watch, bid them make haste.
I think I hear them. Stand ho, who's there?
Well, friends to this ground.
I give you good night.
Bernardo!
What? Say, is Horatio with you?
A piece of him.
Welcome, Horatio. Welcome, good Marcellus.
What, has this thing appeared again tonight?
I've seen nothing.
Horatio says 'tis but our fantasy. Will not let belief take hold of him, touching this dread sight twice seen of us. Therefore I've entreated him along.
Tush! 'Twill not appear.
Well, sit down a while. Let us again assail your ears that are so fortified against our story that we have 2 nights seen.
Well, sit we down and let us hear Bernardo speak of it.
Last night of all, when yon same star that's westward from the pole had made its course to illume that part of heaven where now it burns, Marcellus and myself, the bell then beating one.
Peace! Break the earth! Liber comes again!
In the same figure like the king that is dead.
Thou art a scholar. Speak to Horatio.
Looks it not like the king? Mark it, Horatio.
Most like it harrows me with fear and wonder. You... what? What art thou that usurpest this time of night, together with that fair and warlike form in which the bearing king of Denmark did sometimes march by heaven? I charge thee, speak!
It is offended.
See, it stalks away.
No, stay! Stay! Speak! I say! Speak! What?
'Tis gone and will not answer.
Where? By my God, I would not disbelieve without the safe true avouch of my own eyes.
Is it not like the king?
It's most like. This is strange.
Good now, sit down and tell me, he that knows why this same strict and most observant watch so nightly toils the subject of the land. Who is that can inform me?
That can I. At least as the whisper goes so. Our late king, whose image but even now appeared to us, was, as you know, by Fortinbras of Norway, and he dared to the combat, which our valiant Hamlet did slay this Fortinbras, who by a sealed compact did forfeit all of his lands, his life which he stood seized of to the conqueror. Now, sir, young Fortinbras hath in the skirts of Norway here and there sharked up a list of lawless resolutes, but to recover by us in terms of strong hands and terms compulsory those aforesaid lands by the father lost, we... Oh! It comes again! Oh! Stay, spirit. I'll cross it though it blast me. If thou hast any sound or use of voice, speak to me! 'Tis here! No, 'tis here!
She's gone.
Break we up our watch, and let us impart what we have seen tonight unto young Hamlet, for upon my life, this spirit, though dumb to us, will speak to him.
Let's do it, I pray. And I this morning know where we shall find him most conveniently.
Though yet of Hamlet, our dear brother's death, the memory be green in that it us befitted to bear our hearts in grief and our whole kingdom to be contracted in one brow of woe. Yet so far hath discretion fought with nature, that we with wisest sorrow think on him, together with remembrance of ourselves. Therefore, our sometime sister, now our queen, the imperial jointress to this warlike state, have we, as it were with a defeated joy, with mirth in funeral, and with dirge in marriage, taken to wife, for all our thanks. Now follows that you know young Fortinbras. He hath not failed to pester us with message, importing the surrender of those lands lost by his father. Uncle, we have here writ to uncle of young Fortinbras, who, impotent and bedrid, scarcely hears of his nephew's purpose. We here dispatch you, good Voltimand, for bearing of this greeting to old Norway. Farewell, and let your haste commend your duty.
And that in all things I will show my duty.
We doubt it nothing. Heartily, farewell. And now, Laertes, what's the news with you? You told us of some suit. What is Laertes? The head is not more native to the heart, the hand more instrumental to the mouth, than is the throne of Denmark to thy father.
My dread lord, your leave in favor to return to France, from whence though willingly I came to Denmark to show my duty in your coronation. Yet now I must confess, that duty done, my thoughts and wishes bend again toward France, and bow them to your gracious leave and pardon.
You have your father's leave.
Aye.
What says Polonius?
He hath, my lord, wrung from me my slow leave. I do beseech you, give him leave to go.
Take thy fair hour, Laertes. Time be thine. By thy best graces, spend it at thy will. And now, my cousin Hamlet, and my son,
A little more than kin and less than kind.
how is it that the clouds still hang on you?
Not so, my lord. I am too much in the sun.
Good Hamlet, cast thy nighted color off, and let thine eye look like a friend on Denmark. Do not forever with thy veiled lid seek for thy noble father in the dust. Thou knowest 'tis common. All that lives must die, passing through nature to eternity.
Aye, madam, it is common.
Oh, if it be, why seems it so particular with thee?
Seems, madam. Nay, it is. I know not seems. 'Tis not alone my inky cloak, good mother, nor customary suits of solemn black, but I have that within which passeth show. These but the trappings and the suits of woe.
'Tis sweet and commendable in your nature, Hamlet, to give these mourning duties to your father, but you must know, your father lost a father, that father lost his, and the survivor bound in filial obligation for some term to do obsequious sorrow, but to persevere in obstinate condolement is a course of impious stubbornness. 'Tis unmanly grief. Why should we, in our peevish opposition, take it to heart? Fie! 'Tis a fault to heaven, a fault against the dead, a fault to nature. We pray you, throw to earth this unprevailing woe, and think of us as of a father. For your intent in going back to school in Wittenberg, it is most retrograde to our desire.
Let not thy mother lose her prayers, Hamlet. I pray thee, stay with us. Go not to Wittenberg.
I shall in all my best obey you, madam.
'Tis a fair and loving reply. Be as ourself in Denmark. Come away.
Oh, that this too solid flesh would melt, thaw, and resolve itself into a dew. Or that the everlasting had not fixed his cannon 'gainst self-slaughter. Oh, God, God! How weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable seem to me all the uses of this world. A firelit of fight is an unweeded garden that grows to seed. Things rank and gross in nature possess it merely. That it should come to this. But 2 months dead. Nay, not so much, not 2. So excellent a king that was to this Hyperion, to a satyr, so loving to my mother that he might not beteem the winds of heaven visit her face too roughly. Heaven and earth must I remember. Why, she would hang on him, as if the increase in appetite had grown by what it fed on, and yet within a month, let me not think on it. Frailty, thy name is woman. A little month, or ere those shoes were old with which she followed my poor father's body like Niobe, all tears, and she, even she, oh God, a beast that wants discourse of reason would have mourned longer. Married with my uncle, my father's brother, but no more like my father than I to Hercules. Within the month, ere the salt of most unrighteous tears left the flushing of her golden eyes, she married. Oh, most wicked speed, to post with such dexterity to incestuous sheets. It is not, nor it cannot come to good, but break my heart, for I must hold my tongue.
Hail to your lordship.
I'm glad to see thee well. Horatio, I do forget myself.
My lord, your poor servant ever.
My excellent good friend, I'll change that name with you. Marcellus, I'm glad to see thee well. Good even, sir. But what is your affair in Elsinore? We'll teach you to drink deep ere you depart.
My lord, I came to see your father's funeral.
I pray thee do not mock me, fellow student. I think it was to see my mother's wedding.
Indeed, it followed hard upon.
Thrift, Horatio. The funeral baked meats did coldly furnish forth the marriage tables. Would I have met my dearest foe in heaven, or ere I'd seen that day, Horatio? My father. Methinks I see my father.
Where, my lord?
In my mind's eye, Horatio.
I saw him once. He was a goodly king.
He was a man. Take him for all in all, I shall not look upon his like again.
My lord, I think I saw him yesternight.
Saw who?
The king, your father.
The king, my father.
Seizing your admiration for a little while, with an intent ear, till I may deliver upon the witness of these gentlemen this marvel to you.
For God's love, let me hear.
2 nights together had these gentlemen in the dead, vast, and middle of the night been thus encountered. A figure, like your father, appears before them, and with solemn march goes slow and stately by them. Thrice he walked within his truncheon's length, while they, distilled almost to jelly, stand dumb and speak not to it. This to me in dreadful secrecy imparted they, and I with them the 3rd night kept watch, where, as they had delivered, both in time, form of the thing, each word made true and good, the apparition comes. I know your father. These hands were not more light.
But where was this?
My lord, upon the platform where we watched.
Well, did you not speak to it?
My lord, I did, but answer made it none.
'Tis very strange.
As I do live, my honored lord, 'tis true. And we did think it writ down in our duty to make you known of it.
Indeed, sirs, but this troubles me. Hold you the watch tonight.
We do, my lord.
Armed, you say?
Armed, my lord.
Would I'd been there.
Oh, it would have much amazed you.
Very like, very like. I will watch tonight. Perchance 'twill walk again.
Oh, I warrant it will.
If it assume my noble father's person, I'll speak to it, though hell itself should gape and bid me hold my peace. Upon the platform twixt 11 and 12, I'll visit you.
Our duty to your honor.
Your love's is mine to you. Farewell. My father's spirit in arms. All is not well. I doubt some foul play. When the night will come. Till then, sit still, my soul. Foul deeds will rise, though all the earth overwhelm them to men's eyes.
My necessaries are embarked. Farewell. And sister, as the winds give benefit and convoys assistant, do not sleep, but let me hear from you.
Do you doubt that?
For Hamlet and the trifling of his favor, hold it a fashion and a toy in blood, a violet in the youth of primy nature, forward, not permanent, sweet, not lasting, the perfume and suppliance of a minute. No more.
Certes, no more but so?
Think it no more. Perhaps he loves you now, but you must fear. His greatness weighed, his will is not his own, for he himself is subject to his birth. Then, weigh what loss your honor may sustain, if with too credent ear you list his songs, or lose your heart, or your chaste treasure open to his unmastered importunity. Fear it, Ophelia, fear it, my dear sister.
I shall the effect of this good lesson keep as watchman to my heart. But, good my brother, do not, as some ungracious pastor do, show me the steep and thorny way to heaven, whiles, like a puffed and reckless libertine, himself the primrose path of dalliance treads, and recks not his own reed.
Fear me not, I stay too long. Oh, but here my father comes.
Yet here, Laertes, aboard for shame. The wind sits on the shoulder of your sail, and you are stayed for. There, my blessing with thee. And these few precepts in thy memory, see thou character, above all, to thine own self be true. And it must follow as night the day that thou canst not be false to any man. Farewell. My blessing season this in thee.
Most humbly do I take my leave, my lord.
Time awaits. Go. Your servants tend.
Farewell, Ophelia, and remember well what I have said to you.
'Tis in my memory locked, and you yourself shall keep the key
Farewell!
of it.
What is't, Ophelia, he hath said to you?
So please you something touching the Lord Hamlet?
Marry, well bethought. 'Tis told me he hath very oft of late given private time to you, and you yourself have of your audiences been most free and bounteous. What is between you? Give me up the truth.
He hath, my lord, of late made many tenders of his affection to me.
Affections! Pooh! You speak like a green girl. Do you believe his tenders, as you call them?
I do not know, my lord, what I should think.
Well, this is for all. I would not, in plain terms, from this time forth, have you so slander any moment's leisure as to give word or talk with Lord Hamlet. Look to it, I charge you, come your ways.
I shall obey, my lord.
What hour now?
I think it lacks of 12.
No, it is struck.
Indeed, I heard it not. Well then, it lies within the season where the spirit held its wont to walk. What is't, my lord?
The king doth wake tonight and takes his rouse, keeps wassail and the swaggering up spring reels, and as he drains his draughts of Rhenish down, the kettle drum and trumpet thus spray out the triumph of his pledge.
Is it a custom?
Aye, marry, 'tis. But to my mind, though I am native here and to the manor born, it is a custom more honored in the breach and the observance.
My lord, it comes!
Angels and ministers of grace defend us! Be thou a spirit of health, or goblin damned. Bring with the airs of heaven, or blast from hell. Thou comest in such a questionable shape that I will speak to thee. I'll call thee Hamlet, King, Father, Royal Dane. Oh, answer me!
It beckons you to go away with it, as if it's some impartmented desire to you alone.
Look with what courteous action it waves you to a more removed ground, but do not go with it.
Why, what should be the fear? I do not set my life in a pin's field for my soul. What can I do to that, being a thing immortal as itself? You raise me still. Go on, I'll follow
No,
thee.
my lord, no. What if it should tempt you to the flood, my lord, or to the dreadful summit of the cliff, and there assume another horrible form which might deprive you of your sovereignty of reason, draw you into madness? Think of it!
Raise me forth again. Go on,
No,
I'll
I
follow
shall not
thee.
go, my lord!
Hold up your hands! By heaven! I'll make a ghost of him that lets me, I say, away. Go on. I'll follow thee.
He waxes desperate with imagination.
Something is rotten in the state of Denmark.
And wilt thou lead me? Speak! I'll go no further! I will.
My hour is almost come, when I to sulphurous and tormenting flames must render up myself.
Alas, poor ghost.
Pity me not, but lend thy serious hearing to what I shall unfold.
Speak, I am bound to hear.
So art thou to revenge when thou shalt hear.
What?
I am thy father's spirit, doomed for a certain term to walk the night, till the foul crimes done in my days of nature are burnt and purged away. But I am forbid, if thou didst ever thy dear father.
Oh, God!
Revenge is power and most unnatural. Murder!
Murder!
Murder most foul, strange, and unnatural.
Hasten me to know it, that I with wings as swift as meditation or the thoughts of love may sweep to my revenge.
Tis given out that sleeping in my orchard, a servant stung me. But know thou, noble youth, the serpent that did sting thy father's life, now wears his crown. Aye, that incestuous, that adulterous beast, with witchcraft has went, with treacherous gifts, one day shameful lust, the will of my seeming virtuous queen. Sleeping within my orchard, upon thy secure hour thy uncle stole, with juice of cursed Lebanon, in a vial and in the porches of my ears did pour the leprous distilment. Cut off, but even in the blossom of my sin, no reckoning made, but set to my account with all my imperfections on my head. Horrible, most horrible, most horrible. Let not the royal bed of Denmark be a couch for luxury and excess. However thou purest this act, taint not thy mind, nor let thy soul contrive against thy mother. Leave her soul to heaven. Adieu. Hamlet. Remember me.
you host of heaven. O earth, what else? And shall I couple hell? Remember thee, I thou poor ghost. While memory holds a seat in this distracted globe, remember thee. Yea, from the table of my memory, I'll wipe away all trivial fond records, and thy commandment all alone shall live within the book and volume of my brain, unmixed with baser matter, yes, by heaven! Oh, most pernicious woman! Oh, villain! Villain! Smiling, damned villain! My tables! Meet it is I set it down, that one may smile and be a villain. So, uncle, there you are. Not my word. It is a due remember me.
Lord.
I've sworn it.
My lord! My lord!
Lord Hamlet!
Oh, my lord! What is my lord?
Oh, wonderful.
What could my lord tell us?
There's never villain dwelling in all Denmark, but he's an errant knave.
No ghost come from the grave to tell us this, my lord.
Why, right, you're in the right. And so I hold it fit that without more circumstance at all, we shake hands and part.
What? These are but wild and worldly words, my lord.
I'm sorry they offend you heartily.
No offense, my lord.
Yes, by St. Patrick, but there is Horatio, and much offense too. Touching this vision here, it is an honest ghost that let me tell you. For your desire to know what is between us, or master it as you may. And now, good friends, as you are friends, scholars and soldiers, grant me one poor request.
What is, my lord? We will.
Never make known what you have seen tonight.
My lord, we will not.
Nay, but swear it.
No, my lord, in faith, not I.
Nor I, my lord, in faith.
Upon my sword.
We have sworn, my lord, already.
Never to speak of this that you have seen. Swear by my sword.
Strange day and night, 'tis marvelous strange.
And therefore, as a stranger, give it welcome. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. But come, here as before, never, so help you mercy, how strange or odd soe'er I bear myself, as I perchance hereafter shall think meet to put an antic disposition on, that you at such time seeing me, never shall note that you know aught of me. This do swear.
I swear.
Rest, perturbed spirit. So, my friends, I do commend my love to you. And still your fingers on your lips, I pray. The time is out of joint. Oh, cursed spite, that ever I was born to set it right. Nay, come, let's go together.
How now, Ophelia, what's the matter?
My lord, I have been so affrighted.
With what, in the name of God?
My lord, as I was sewing in my closet, Lord Hamlet, he comes before me.
Mad for thy love.
My lord, I do not know, but truly I do fear it.
What did he say?
He took me by the wrist and held me hard. Then goes he to the length of all his arm, and with his other hand thus o'er his brow, he falls to such perusal of my face as he would draw it. Long stayed he so. At last, a little shaking of mine arm, and thrice his head thus waving up and down, he raised a sigh so piteous and profound as it did seem to shatter all his bulk and end his being. That done, he lets me go, and with his head over his shoulder turned, he seemed to find his way without his eyes, for out of doors he went without their helps, and to the last bended their light on me.
What, have you given him any hard words of late?
No, my good lord. But as you did command, I did deny his access to me and repel his letters.
Oh, that hath made him mad. Come, let us go to the king.
Entreat you both, that being of so young days brought up with him, and sith so neighbor to his youth and havior, that you vouchsafe your rest here in our court some little time, so by your companies to draw him unto pleasures, and to gather so much as from occasion you may glean, that which opened lies within our remedy.
He hath much talked of you, and sure I am 2 souls there are not living to whom he more adheres.
Both your majesty's might, by the sovereign power you have of us, put your dread pleasures more into command than to entreaty.
But we both obey and here give up ourselves in the full bent to lay our service freely at your feet, to be commanded.
Thanks, Rosencrantz, and gentle Guildenstern.
Thanks, Guildenstern, and gentle Rosencrantz. I beseech you, instantly to visit my too much changed son.
Oh, heavens make our presence and our practices pleasant and helpful to him.
Aye, amen.
The ambassador from Norway, my lord, is joyfully returned.
Most welcome, my good friend. Say, Voltaman, what from our brother Norway?
Most fair returns of greetings and desires. Fortinbras in brief makes vow nevermore to give a say of arms against your majesty, and an entreaty herein further shown. That it may please you to give further pass on through your dominions for this enterprise, on such regards of safety and allowance therein is set down.
It likes us well. Go to your rest. At night we'll feast together. Most welcome home.
This business is well ended, my liege and madam, to expostulate. What majesty should be, what duty is. Why, day is day, night, night, and time is time. I will be brief. Your noble son is mad. Mad call I it, for to divine true madness, what is to be nothing else but mad. But let that go.
More matter with less art.
I use no art, madam, I swear. I have a daughter, have well she is mine, who in her duty and obedience, mark, hath given me this. Now gather and surmise. To the celestial and my soul's idol, the most beautified Ophelia. That's an ill phrase, a vile phrase. Beautified is a vile phrase.
Came this from Hamlet to her?
Good madam, stay a while, I'll be faithful. Doubt that the stars are fire, doubt that the sun doth move, doubt truth to be a liar, but never doubt I love. Oh, dear Ophelia, I am ill at these numbers. I have not art to reckon my groans, but that I love thee best, oh, most best, believe it. Adieu, thine evermore, most dear lady, whilst this machine is to him, Hamlet. This in obedience hath my daughter shown me, and my young mistress, thus did I bespeak that she lock herself from his resort, admit no messengers, and receive no tokens.
Do you think 'tis this?
It may be very likely.
How may we try it further?
You know, sometimes he walks 4 hours together here in the lobby.
So he does indeed.
At such a time, I'll loose my daughter to him. Be you and I behind an arras then. Mark the encounter. If he love her not, and be not from his reason fallen thereon, let me be no assistant for a state, but keep a farm in Carter's.
We shall try it. All right.
Oh, but look, sadly where the poor wretch comes reading.
Away, both of you, I beseech you both away. I'll board him presently. How does my good Lord Hamlet?
Well, God of mercy!
Do you know me, my lord?
Excellent well, you are a fishmonger.
Not I, my lord.
That I would you were so honest a man.
Honest, my lord.
Aye, to be honest as this world goes is to be one man picked out of 10,000.
That's very true, my lord.
Have you a daughter?
I have, my lord.
Let her not walk in the sun. Conception is a blessing, but not as your daughter would conceive. Friend, look to it.
How say you by that? Still harping on my daughter. What are you reading, sir?
Words. Words.
What is the matter,
Words?
my lord?
Between who?
I mean the matter that you're reading.
Slander, sir. For the satirical rogue says here that old men have gray beards, that their faces are wrinkled, and that they have a plentiful lack of wit, together with most weak hands. For you yourself, sir, should be old as I am, if like a crab, you could go backward.
Though this be madness, there is method in't. Will you walk out of the air, my lord?
Into my grave.
That is out of the air, my lord.
how pregnant sometimes his replies are. I shall leave and suddenly contrive the means of meeting between him and my daughter. My most honorable lord, I humbly take my leave of you.
You cannot, sir, take from me anything that will not willingly part with all. Except my life, except my life, except my life, except my life.
Fare you well, my lord.
These tedious old fools.
You, go and seek the Lord Hamlet. There he is.
God save you, sir.
My honored lord!
My most dear lord!
My excellent good friends! How do ye, Guildenstern? Rosencrantz, how do ye both?
As the indifferent children of the world.
Happy in that we are not over happy. On fortune's cap, we are not the very button.
What's the news?
None, my lord, but that the world's grown honest.
Then is doomsday near.
But your news is not true. Let me question in more particular. What have you, my good friends, deserved at the hands of fortune that she sends you to prison hither?
A prison, my lord?
Denmark's a prison.
Then is the world one?
A goodly one, in which there are many confines, wards, and dungeons, Denmark being one of the worst. What make you at Elsinore?
To see you, my lord, no other occasion.
Beggar that I am, I'm even more poor in thanks. But I thank ye. Were you not sent for? Is it your own inclining? Come, nay, speak.
What should we say, my lord?
Why, anything, but to the purpose. You were sent for, and there is a sort of confession in your looks which your modesties have not craft enough to color. I know the good king and queen have sent for you.
To what end, my lord?
That you must teach me.
My lord, we were sent for.
I'll tell you why. I have of late, but wherefore I know not, lost all my mirth. This goodly frame, the earth, seems to me a sterile promontory. This excellent canopy, look you, the air, this brave o'erhanging firmament, this majestical roof fretted with a golden fire, why it appears no other thing to me than a foul and pestilent congregation of vapors. What a piece of work is a man! How noble in reason, how infinite in faculty, in form and living, how express and admirable in action, how like an angel in apprehension, how like a god, the beauty of the world, the paragon of animals! And yet to me, what is this quintessence of dust? Man delights not me. No, woman neither.
Think, my lord, if you delight not in man, what Lenten entertainment the players shall receive from you. We quoted them on the way, and hither are they coming to offer you service.
What players be they?
Even those you were wont to take delight in, the tragedians of the city.
Friends, you are welcome at Elsinore. Come, your hands. The appetence of welcome is fashion and ceremony.
My good lord, I have news to tell you.
My lord, I have news to tell you. When Roscius was an actor in Rome.
The actors are come hither, my lord. The best actors in the world, either for tragedy, comedy, history, pastoral. For the laws of writ and the liberty, these are the only men.
Yes.
Welcome, good friends. Welcome, masters all. I'm glad to see thee well. Welcome, oh, my old friend. Come, we'll have a speech straight. Give us a taste of your quality. Come, a passionate speech.
What speech, my lord?
I heard thee speak me a speech once. 'Twas Aeneas, tale of Dido. If it live in your memory, begin at this line. Let me see. The rugged Pyrrhus, whose sable arms black as his purpose, did the knight resemble when he lay crouched in his ominous horse. So proceed you.
For God, my lord, well spoken with good accent and good discretion.
Anon, he finds him, striking two shorted Greeks. His antique sword, rebellious to his arm, lies where it falls. Repugnant to command, unequal matched, Pyrrhus at Priam drives in rage, strikes wide, but With the whiff and wind of his fell sword, the unnerved father falls. So, like a painted tyrant, Pyrrhus stood, and like a neutral to his will and matter did nothing. So, after Pyrrhus' pause, aroused vengeance set him new a work. Out! Out, thou strumpet fortune, and all you gods in general synod, take away her power, break the spokes and fellies from her wheel, and pull the round nave down the hill of heaven, as low as to the fiend.
This is too long. And shout to the barbers with your beard, prithee say on, come to Hecuba.
But who, oh who, has seen the marbled queen?
The marbled queen?
Oh, that's good. The marbled queen is good.
Run barefoot, up and down, and for a robe about her lank and all o'er-teamed loins, a blanket, in the alarm of fear caught up. And if the gods did see her then, when she saw Pyrrhus make malicious sport in mincing with his sword her husband's limbs, the instant burst of clamor that she made would have made milch the burning eyes of heaven and passion of the gods.
Whether his color is no change, he has tears in his eyes. I pray you no more.
That was good.
'Tis well. I'll have thee speak out the rest soon. Good my lord, will you see the players well bestowed? Dost thou hear me? Let them be well used. After your death, you were better have a bad epitaph than their ill report while you live.
Come, sirs.
We'll have a play tomorrow night. Follow him, friends. Dost thou hear me, old friend? Can you play the murder of Gonzago?
Aye, my lord.
'Tis well, we'll have tomorrow night. You could, for a need, study a speech of some 12 or 16 lines, which I could insert and write. Could you not?
Aye, my lord.
Well, follow that lord, and look you mock him not. Ugh. My friends, I'll leave you till tonight. You are welcome at Elsinore.
Oh, good my lord.
I so, God be with ye. Now I am alone. Oh, what a rogue and peasant slave am I! Is it not monstrous that this player here, but in a fiction, in a dream of passion, could force his soul to his own conceit, and from her working all his visage wand, tears in his eyes, distraction in his aspect, a broken voice, and his whole function suiting with forms to his conceit, and all for nothing? For Hecuba! What's Hecuba to him, or he to Hecuba, that he should weep for her? What would he do, had he the motive and cue for passion that I have? He would drown the stage in tears and cleave the general ear in horrid speech, make mad the guilty, appall the free, confound the ignorant, and amaze indeed the very faculties of eyes and ears. Yet I, a dull and mutty-mettled rascal, peak like a John that dreams, unpregnant for my cause, can say nothing. No, not for a king, upon whose property and most dear life a damned defeat was made. Am I a coward? Who calls me villain? Breaks my paid across, plucks off my beard and blows it in my face, tweaks me by the nose, gives me the lie into the throat as deep into the lungs. Who does me this? Half swoons I should take it. But it cannot be, because I am pigeon-livered and lack gall to make oppression bitter. or ere this, I should have fatted all the Regent kites with the slaves. Awful, bloody, bawdy villain, remorseless, treacherous, lecherous, kindless villain, oh, vengeance! Why, what an ass am I? This is most brave, that I, the son of the dear murdered, prompted to my revenge by heaven and hell, must like a whore unpack my heart with words and fall a-cursing like a very drab, a scullion, fire-butted fall about my brain. I have heard that guilty creatures sitting at a play have by the very cunning of the scene been struck so to the soul that presently they have proclaimed their malefactions. For murder, though it have no tongue, will speak with most miraculous organ. I'll have these players play something like the murder of my father before mine uncle. I'll observe his looks, I'll tend him to the quick. If he but blench, I know my course. The spirit that I've seen may be the devil, and the devil hath power to assume a pleasing shape, and yea, out of my melancholy and my weakness, as he is very potent with such spirits, abuses me to damn me. I'll have more grounds relative than this. The play's the thing wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king.
Did you essay him to any pastime?
Madam, it so fell out that certain players we all wrought on the way, of these we told him, and there did seem in him a kind of joy to hear it. They are about the court, and, as I think, have already had order this night to play before him.
'Tis most true, and he beseeched me to entreat your majesties to hear and see the matter.
With all my heart, and it doth much content me to hear him so inclined. Good friends, give him a further edge, and drive his purpose on to these delights.
We shall, my lord.
Good Gertrude, leave us too, for we have closely sent for Hamlet hither, that he, as 'twere by accident, may here affront Ophelia.
I shall obey you. And for your part, Ophelia, oh, I do wish that your good beauties be the happy cause of Hamlet's wildness. So shall I hope that your virtue will bring him to his wonted way again, to both your honors.
Madam, I wish it may.
Ophelia, walk you here. Gracious, so please you, we will bestow ourselves. I hear him coming. Withdraw, my lord. To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them to die. To sleep no more. And by a sleep, we say to end the heartache and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished. To die. To sleep. To sleep. Perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. For in the sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of despised love, the insolence of office, the law's delay, and the spurns of that patent merit of the unworthy takes when he himself might disquietus make with a bare bodkin? Who would fardels bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life? But that the dread of something after death, the undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveler returns, puzzles the will and makes us rather bear those ills we have than fly to others that we know not of. Thus conscience does make cowards of us all, and thus the native hue of resolution is sicklied all with the pale cast of thought, and enterprises of great pitch and moment with disregard their courage turn awry, and lose the name of action. Softy now, the fair Ophelia, nymph in thy orisons be all my sins remembered.
Good my lord, how does your honor this many a day?
I humbly thank you. Well.
My lord, I have remembrances of yours that I have longed to redeliver to you. Take these again. For to the noble mind, rich gifts wax poor when givers prove unkind. There, my lord.
Ha ha! Are you honest?
My lord?
Are you fair?
What means your lordship?
That if you be honest and fair, your honesty should admit no discourse to your beauty.
Could beauty, my lord, hold better commerce than with honesty?
Aye, truly. For the power of beauty will sooner transform honesty from what it is to a bawd than the force of honesty can translate beauty into his likeness. I did love you once.
Indeed, my lord, you made me believe so.
You should not have believed me.
I was the more
loved
deceived.
you not.
I was the more deceived.
Get thee to another eat. Why wouldst thou be a breeder of sinners? I am myself indifferent honest, but yet I could accuse me of such things. It were better my mother had not borne me. I am very proud, revengeful, ambitious, and have more offenses at my beck than I have thoughts to put them in, imagination to give them shape, or time to act them in. What should such fellows as I do? Crawling between earth and heaven, we are errant knaves all, believe none of us, go thy ways to a nunnery. Where's your father?
At home, my lord.
Let the doors be shut upon him, that he may play the fool nowhere but in his own house. Farewell!
Oh, help him, you sweet heavens!
If thou dost marry, I'll give thee this plague for thy dowry. Be thou as chaste as ice, as pure as snow. Thou shalt not escape calumny. Get thee to a nunnery. Or if thou wilt needs marry, marry a fool. For wise men know well enough what monsters you make of them. To a nunnery go, and quickly to farewell.
Oh, heavenly powers, restore him.
I've heard of your paintings too well enough. God hath given you one face, and you make yourselves another. Go to, I'll no more on it, and it made me mad. I say, we shall have no more marriages. Those that are married already, all but one shall live. The rest shall keep as they are. a nunnery. Go!
Oh, what a noble mind is here o'erthrown. The courtiers, soldiers, scholars, eye, tongue, sword. The expectancy and rose of the fair state. The glass of fashion and the mold of form. The observed of all observers, quite down. And I, of ladies most deject and wretched, that sucked the honey of his music vows, now see that noble and most sovereign reason, like sweet bells jangled out of tune and harsh, that unmatched form and feature of blown youth, blasted with ecstasy. Oh, woe is me, to have seen what I have seen, to see what I see.
Love, his affections do not that way tend. And what he spake, though it lacked form a little, then it was not like madness. There's something in his soul, o'er which his melancholy sits on brood, and I do fear the hatch and the disclose will be some danger. Which for to prevent, I have in quick determination thus set it down. He will with speed to England for the demand of our neglected tribute. What think you on it?
It shall do well. But yet do I believe the origin and commencement of his grief sprung from neglected love. My lord, do as you please. But if you hold fit, after the play, let his queen mother alone entreat him to share his grief. Let her be round with him. I'll be placed in ear of all their conference. If she find him not, to England send him.
It shall be so. Madness in great ones should not unwatched go.
Speak the speech, I pray you, as I pronounced it to you, trippingly on the tongue. But if you mouth it as many of your players do, I would as lief the town crier had spoke my lines. Nor do not saw the air so much with your hands, but use all gently. For in the very torrent, tempest, and as I may say, the whirlwind of passion, you must acquire and beget a temperance that gives it smoothness. Oh, it offends me to the soul to hear a robustuous, periwig-pated fellow tear a passion to tatters, to very rags, and split the ears of the groundlings, who, for the most part, are capable of nothing but inexplicable dumb show and noise. Pray you, avoid it.
I warrant your honor.
Be not too tame, neither, but let your own discretion be your tutor. Suit the action to the word to the action. With this special observance that you o'erstep not the modesty of nature. For anything so overdone is for the purpose of playing, whose end, both from the first to now, was and is as 'twere to hold the mirror up to nature. And let those that play your clowns speak no more than is set down for them, for there will be of themselves that will laugh to, set on some barren spectators to laugh to. Go, make you ready! Horatio! There is a play tonight before the king. What? One scene of it comes near the circumstance which I have told thee of my father's death. I pray thee, when thou seest this act afoot, even with the very comment of thy soul, observe mine uncle. If his occulted guilt do not uncannel in one speech, it is the damned ghost that we have seen. I myself will rivet to his face, and afterwards we will our judgments join in censure of his seeming.
Well, my lord, if the king escape aught while the play is playing, I will pay the fee.
Go then, come into the play. Get to a place, I must be idle.
How fares Where's our cousin Hamlet?
Excellent. In faith of the chameleon's dish, I eat the air. Promise, crammed, you cannot feed capon so.
I have nothing with this answer, Hamlet. These words are not mine.
No, no mine now. Be the players ready?
Aye, my lord, they stay upon your patience.
You are merry, my lord?
Aye, for what should a man do but be merry? For look you, how cheerfully my mother looks, and my father died within these 2 hours.
Nay, 'tis twice 2 months, my lord.
So long! Why then let the devil wear black. I'll have a suit of sables. Oh, heavens! Died 2 months ago and not forgotten yet. Then there's hope. A great man's memory may outlive his life half a year.
For us and for our tragedy, here stooping to your clemency, we beg your hearing patiently.
Oh, 'tis grief, my lord.
As woman's love.
Full 30 times hath Phoebus' card gone round Neptune's salt wash and Delis orb ground, since love our hearts and Hymen did our hands unite commutually in these most sacred bands.
So many journeys may the sun and moon make us again count, or ere love be done. But woe is me! You are so sick of late, so far from cheer and from your former state that I distrust you. Yet though I distrust, discomfort you, my lord, if nothing must.
Sweet, I must leave thee, and shortly too. My operant powers their functions leave to do, but you will live in this fair world behind, honored, beloved, and haply one is kind, for a husband shalt thou.
Oh, confound the rest! Such love must needs be treason in my breast. And second husband, let me be accursed. None wed the second, but you killed the first. The instances that second marriage move are base respects of thrift, but none of love. A second time I kill my husband dead, when second husband kisses me in bed.
I do believe you speak what now you think, but what we do determine oft we break. So think thou wilt no second husband wed, but die thy thoughts when thy first lord is dead.
Nor earth to give me food, nor heaven light. Sport and repose lock from me day and night. Both here and hence pursue me lasting strife. If once a widow, ever I be wife.
If she should break it now.
'Tis deeply sworn. Sweet, leave me here a while. My spirits grow dull, and fain I would beguile the tedious day with sleep.
Sleep, rock thy brain, and never come mischance between us twain.
Madam, how like you this play?
The lady protests too much, methinks.
Oh, but she'll keep her word.
What do you call the play?
The Mousetrap. Mary, how? Tropically. This play is the image of a murder done in Vienna. 'Tis a knavish piece of work. But what of that? Your Majesty and we that have free souls, it touches us not. This is one Lucianus, nephew to the king.
You're as good as a chorus, my lord.
I could interpret between you and your love, could I see the puppet's stallion.
Thoughts black, hands out, drugs fit, in time agreeing. Confederate season, ale snow creature sing.
That makes you rank with midnight weeds glutted, with a hate man thrice blasted, thrice infected. Thy natural magic and dire property, unwholesome life usurp immediately.
He murders him in the garden for his estate. You shall see anon how the murderer gets the love of Gonzago's wife.
The king rises.
What, frightened with false fire?
Give me some light! Away!
Lights! Lights!
Lights! Lights! Lights! Lights! Oh, good Horatio! Oh, take the ghost word for 1,000 pounds. Did perceive?
I did, my lord.
Upon the talk of the poisoning.
I did, my lord, very well.
Good, my lord, vouchsafe me a word with you.
Aye, sir, a whole history.
The king, sir.
Aye, sir, what of him?
Is in his retirement marvelous distempered.
Your wisdom should show itself more richer to signify this to a doctor.
Good, my lord. Put your discourse into some frame and start not so wildly from my affair.
I am tame, sir. Pronounce.
The queen, your mother, in most great affliction of spirit, hath sent me to you.
You are welcome.
Nay, good my lord, this courtesy is not of the right breed. If it shall please you to make me a wholesome answer, I will do so and do your mother's commandment. If not, your pardon and my return shall be the end of my business.
I cannot, sir.
What, my lord?
Give you a wholesome answer. My wit's deceased. My mother, you say?
She desires to speak with you in her closet before you go to bed.
We shall obey. Was she 10 times our mother? Leave me, friends. Now 'tis the very witching time of night, when churchyards yawn and hell itself breathes out contagion to this world. Now can I drink hot blood and do such bitter business as the day would quake to look upon? Soft. Now to my mother. O heart, lose not thy nature. Let not the soul of Nero enter this firm bosom. Let me be cruel, but not unnatural. I will speak daggers to her, but use none. My tongue and soul in this be hypocrites. How in my words soever she be sent, to give them seals never my soul consent.
He is going to his mother's closet. Behind the arras, I'll convey myself to hear the process. Fare thee well, my lord. I'll call upon you ere you go to bed and tell you what I know.
Thanks, dear my lord. Oh, my offense is rank. It smells to heaven. It hath the primal eldest curse upon it. A brother's murder. Pray can I not, though inclination be as sharp as will. My stronger guilt defeats my strong intent. And like a man to double business bound, I stand in pause where I shall first begin, and both neglect. What if this cursed hand were thicker than itself with brother's blood? Would there not be rain enough in the sweet heavens to wash it white as snow? Oh, whereto serves mercy but to confront the visage of offense? And what's in prayer but that twofold force to be forestalled ere we come to fall? Or pardoned being down, then I'll look up. Oh, what form of prayer can serve my turn? Forgive me my foul murder? That cannot be, for I am still possessed of those effects for which I did the murder. Bow stubborn knees and hearts with strings of steel. Be soft as sinews of the newborn babe. All may be well. Now might I do it, Pat. Now he is praying, and so I'll do it.
And so he goes to heaven. And so I am revenged. That would be scanned. A villain kills my father. And so I, his sole son, do send this same villain to heaven. Oh, this is hire and salary, not revenge. He took my father grossly full of bread, all his crimes broad blown as flash as May. And am I then revenged to take him in the purging of his soul when he is fit and seasoned for his passage? No! Up sword, and know thou a more horrid hent, when he is drunk, asleep, or in his rage, or in the incestuous pleasure of his bed, then trip him, that his heels may kick in heaven, and his soul be as damned and black as hell whereto it goes. My mother stays. This physic but prolongs thy sickly days. My words fly up. My thoughts remain below. Words without thoughts ne'er to heaven go.
He will come straight. Look, you lay hold of him. Tell him his pranks have been too broad to bear with. Pray you, be round with him.
I'll warrant you.
Mother?
Fear me not.
Mother!
Withdraw. I hear him coming.
Mother! 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 Oh! Oh no, Mother? What's the matter?
Hamlet, thou hast thy father much offended.
Mother, you have my father much offended.
Why? Come, you answer with an idle tongue.
Go, you question with a wicked tongue.
Why, how now, Hamlet?
What's the matter now?
Have you forgot me?
No, by the rood, not so. You are the queen, your husband, brother's wife, and would it were not so, you are my mother.
Oh, nay then, I'll set those to you that can speak.
Peace, sit you down. You shall not go. You go not till I set you up a glass, and you may see the inmost part of you.
What wilt thou do? Thou wilt not murder me. Help! Help! Ah!
What help? Help!
Oh no, a rat!
Help!
Dead, what Duggett? Dead!
I am slain.
Oh me! What hast thou done?
Nay, I know not. Is it the king?
Oh! What a rash and bloody deed is this!
A bloody deed! Almost as bad, good mother, as kill a king and marry with his brother.
As kill a king?
Aye, lady. 'Twas my word. Peace! Sit you down, and let me wring your heart, for so I shall, if it be made of penetrable stuff.
What have I done, that thou darest wag thy tongue in noise so rude against me?
Look here, upon this picture, and on this, the counterfeit presentment of two brothers. See what a grace was seated on his brow. Hyperion's curls, the front of Jove himself, and I like Mars to threaten and command, a combination and a form indeed, where every god did seem to set his seal to give the world assurance of a man. This was your husband. Look you here, what follows. Here is your husband, like a mildewed ear, blasting his wholesome brother. Have you eyes? Could you on this fair mountain leave to feed, and batten on this moor? Have you eyes? Oh, shame, where is thy blush?
Oh, Hamlet, speak no more. Thou hast turned my eyes into my very soul, and there I see such black and grained spots as will not leave their cheeks.
Nay, but to live in the rank sweat of an enseamed bed, honeying and making love, stewed in corruption.
Speak to me no more. These words like daggers enter in mine ears. No more, sweet Hamlet.
A murderer and a villain. A slave that is not 20th part the tithe of your precedent lord. A vice of kings, a cutpurse of the empire, and the rule that from a shelf the precious diadem stolen put it in his pocket. A king of shreds and patches. Save me. Hover over me with your wings, you heavenly gods. What would your gracious figure?
Last year's love.
Do not forget, this visitation is but to whet thy almost blunted purpose. But look, amazement on thy mother's death between her and her fighting soul. Speak to her, Hamlet.
How is it with you, lady?
Alas, how is't with you? That you do bend your eye on vacancy, and with the incorporeal air do hold discourse. Oh, gentle son, upon the heat and flame of thy distemper sprinkle cool patience. Whereon do you look?
On him. On him. Look how pale he glares.
To whom do you speak this?
Do you see nothing there?
Nothing at all, but all that is I see.
Look where he steals. In his habit, my father, in his habit as he lived, look where he goes even now out of the portal.
Oh, this is the very coinage of your brain. This bodiless creation ecstasy is very cunning in...
Ecstasy! My pulse, as yours, doth temperately keep time. Confess yourself to heaven. Repent what's past, avoid what is to come, and do not spread the compost on the weeds to make them ranker.
Oh, Hamlet, thou hast cleft my heart in twain.
Oh, throw away the worser part of it, and live the purer with the other half. Good night. But go not to mine uncle's bed. Assume a virtue if you have it not. For this same Lord, I do repent. I will bestow him, and will answer well the death I gave him. So again, good night. I must be cruel only to be kind. Thus bad begins and worse remains behind.
Be thou assured, if words be made of breath and breath of life, I have no life to breathe what thou hast said to me.
I must to England. You know that.
Alas, I forgot. 'Tis so concluded on.
This man shall set me packing. I'll lug the guts into the neighbor room. Come, sir, to draw toward an end with you. Good night, mother. Where is your son?
Oh, my good lord, what I have seen tonight.
What, Gertrude? How does Hamlet?
Mad, as the sea and wind when both contend, which is the mightier. In his lawless fit, behind the arras hearing something stir, he whips out his rapier, and he cries, a rat, a rat! And in this brainish apprehension, he kills the unseen good old man.
Oh, heavy deed. It had been so with us had we been there. His liberty is full of threats to all, to you yourself, to us, to everyone. How shall this bloody deed be answered? Oh, Gertrude, come away. Come. Oh, good friends, join you in some further aid. Hamlet in madness hath Polonius slain, and from his mother's closet hath he dragged him. Go, seek him out, speak fair, and bring the body into the chapel. I pray you hasten this. Come, Gertrude. We'll call up our wisest friends and tell them both what we mean to do and what's untimely done. Oh, come away. My soul is full of discord and dismay.
Safely stowed.
My lord,
Oh, what noise is... Oh, here they come.
What have you done, my lord, with the dead body?
Compounded it with dust, whereto 'tis kin.
Tell us where it is, that we may take it thence to the chapel.
Do not believe it.
Believe what?
That I can keep your counsel and not mine own.
Besides, to be demanded of a sponge, what replication should be made by the son of a king?
I understand you not, my lord.
I'm glad of it. A knavish speech sleeps in a foolish ear.
My lord, tell us where the body is and come with us to see the king.
The body is with the king, but the king is not with the body. The king's a thing.
A thing, my lord?
Of nothing. Bring me to him.
Oh, Rosencrantz. How now? What hath befallen?
Where he hath bestowed the body, my lord, we cannot get from him.
Bring him before us.
Oh, Guildenstern, bring in my lord! Yes.
Now, Hamlet, where is Polonius?
At supper!
At supper? Where?
Not where he eats, but where he is eaten. A certain convocation of politic worms are eating at him.
Where is Polonius?
In heaven! Send hither to see. If your messenger find him not there, seek him in the other place yourself. But indeed, if you find him not within the month, you shall nose him as you go up the stairs into the lobby.
Go and seek him there.
He will stay till you come.
Hamlet, this deed must send you hence with fiery haste. Therefore, prepare yourself. The bark is ready, the wind at help. The associates tend, and everything is bent for England!
For England! Farewell, dear mother.
Thy loving father, Hamlet.
My mother. Father and mother is man and wife. Man and wife is one flesh. And so my mother. For England!
Follow him at foot. Tempt him with speed aboard. Delay it not. I will have him hence tonight. Away. For everything is sealed and done that else leans on the affair. Pray you hasten this! In England, mayst thou not coldly set our sovereign process? By letters congruing to that effect, the present death of Hamlet, till I know 'tis done, howe'er my haps, my joys were ne'er begun.
Go, Captain. From me, greet the Danish king. Tell him that, by his license, Fortinbras craves the conveyance of a promised march over his kingdom. You know the rendezvous. If that his majesty would aught with us, we shall express our duty in his eyes. And let him know so.
I will do it, my lord.
Go softly on.
Where is the beauteous majesty of Denmark?
How now, Ophelia?
How should I, your true love, know from another one? By his cockle hat and staff, and his sandal shoe.
Sweet lady, what imports this song?
He is dead and gone, lady. He is dead and gone. At his head a grass-green turf, at his heels a stone.
Nay, Ophelia.
White his shroud as the mountain snow. Oh, oh, oh. Larded with sweet flowers, which be wept to the ground. Did not go with true love showers. By Gis and by Saint Charity, alack and fie, for shame, young men will do it, they come to it, by cock, they are to blame.
How long has she been thus?
Be patient. But I cannot choose but weep to think that they would lay him in the cold ground. My brother shall hear of it, and so I thank you for your good counsel. Come, my coach. Good night, ladies. Good night, sweet ladies. Good night. Good night.
This is the madness of deep grief. It springs all from her father's death. Oh, poor Ophelia.
Who the vile king give me my father?
What is the reason, Laertes, that thy rebellion looks so giant-like? Let him go, Gertrude. Do not fear our person. Why thou art thus incensed?
Where is my father?
Dead.
No!
But not by him! Not by him!
Let him demand his fill.
How came he dead? I'll not be juggled with.
That I am guiltless of your father's death, and am most sensible in grief for it. It shall be as level to your judgment, Pierce, as day does to your eye.
Oh, he dry up my brains. Tears 7 times salt burn out the sense and virtue of mine eye. Kind maid, dear sister, sweet Ophelia.
There's rosemary. That's for remembrance. Pray you love remember. And there's pansies. That's for thoughts. There's fennel for you. And columbines. And here's rue for you. And here's some for me. We may call it the herb of grace, O Sundays. Oh, you must wear your rue with a difference. There's a daisy. I would give you some violets, but they withered all when my father died. They say he made a good end. For bonny sweet Robin is all my joy. And will he not come again? And will he not come again? No! No! He is dead! Go to thy deathbed. He never will come again. His hair was white as snow, all flaxen was his poll. He is gone, and we cast away moan. God! Have mercy on his soul! And to all Christian souls, I pray God, God be with ye.
Do you see this, O God?
Laertes, I must commune with your grief, or you deny me right, go but apart. Be you content to lend your patience to us, and we shall jointly labor with your soul to give it due content.
And so have I a noble father lost. A sister driven into desperate terms, whose worth, if praises may go back again, stood mount of challenger for all the ages for her perfections. But my revenge will come.
Break not your sleeps for that. You must not think us made of stuff so flat and dull that we can let our beard be shook with danger and think it past time. How now? What news?
Letters, my lord, from Hamlet.
Hamlet?
This to your majesty, this to the queen.
Who brought them?
Sailors, my lord. They say I saw them not.
Laertes, you shall hear them.
Aye.
Leave us. High and mighty, tomorrow shall I beg leave to see your kingly eyes, when I shall, first asking your pardon therein to recount the occasion of my sudden and more strange return. Hamlet, what should this mean?
Know you the hand?
Tis Hamlet's character. Can you advise me?
I am lost in it, my lord. But let him come. It warms the very sickness of my heart that I shall live and tell him to his teeth, thus didst thou.
If he be now returned, I shall work him to an exploit. Now ripen my device. Some 2 months hence, here there was a gentleman of Normandy. He made confession of you and gave you such a masterly report in art and exercise in rapier most especially.
What out of this, my lord?
Laertes, what would you undertake to show yourself your father's son indeed more than in word?
To cut his throat in the church!
No place indeed should murder sanctuarize. Revenge should have no bounds. But, good Laertes, will you do this? Keep yourself close within your chamber. Hamlet, returned, will know you have come home. We'll put on those who will praise your excellence and wager on your heads. He, being remiss, most generous, and free from all contriving, will not peruse the rapier, so that you, with ease or with little shuffling, may choose a sword unbaited, and in the passive practice, requite him for your father.
I will do it. And for that purpose, I'll anoint my sword. I bought an unction of mountebank so mortal that but dip a knife in it, if I gall him slightly, it may be death.
When in your motion you are hot and dry, I'll have prepared for him, and he calls for a drink, a chalice for the nonce. Whereupon, but sipping, if he should escape your venom stung, there our purpose may hold. How now, sweet queen?
One woe doth tread upon another's heel. So fast they follow. Your sister's drowned, Laertes.
Drowned? Where?
Well, there is a willow that grows aslant a brook that shows as hoard leaves in the glassy stream, and there with fantastic garlands did she come. When down her weedy trophies and herself fell in the weeping brook, her clothes spread wide, and mermaid-like, a while they bore her up, but long it could not be till that her garments heavy with their drink pulled the poor wretch from her melodious late to muddy death.
Alas, then she's drowned.
Drowned. Drowned.
Too much water hast thou, poor Ophelia, and therefore I forbid my tears. But it is nature's trick, her custom holds. Let shame say what it will, when I'm through, the women will be out. Adieu, my lord. I have a speech of fire that fain would blaze, but that this folly doubts it.
How much I had to do to calm his rage. I fear this will give it rise again. Therefore, let us follow.
Ooh. Oh. Oh. Oh.
Has this fellow no feeling at his business that he sings a grave making?
Custom hath made a property of easiness in him.
'Tis even so. The hand of little employment hath the daintiest sense. That skull had a tongue in it and could sing once. How a knave jousted to the ground as if it were Cain's jawbone that did the first murder. I will speak to this fellow. Whose grave is this, sirrah?
Mine, sir.
I think it be thine, for thou liest in it.
Oh, you do not lie in it, and so is not yours. For my part, I do not lie in it, and yet it is mine.
Thou dost lie in it, to be in it and say it is thine. 'Tis for the dead, not for the quick, therefore thou liest.
'Tis a quick lie. 'Twill away again from me to you.
What man dost thou dig for?
No, none, sir.
What woman then?
For none, neither.
Who is to be buried in it?
One that was a woman, but rest her soul, she's dead.
How absolute the knave is.
Yeah.
How long has thou been a grave maker?
Of all the days of the year, I came to it that day that our last king, Hamlet, overcame Fortinbras.
How long is that since?
You not tell? Any fool can tell that. The same day that young Hamlet was born, he that is mad and gone to England.
Aye, Mary, why was he sent into England?
Why? Because he was mad. He'll regain his senses there. If not, it won't much matter there.
Why?
Won't be seen in him. There, all the men are as mad as he.
How came he mad?
Very strangely, they say.
How strangely?
With losing his wits.
Upon what ground?
Why, here in Denmark!
How long will a man lie in the earth ere he rot?
If he not be rotten before he die, that'll scarce hold the laying in. He will last you some 8 year, 9 year. Ooh! Here's a skull that's laid in the earth 23 years.
Whose was it?
A pestilence upon him for a mad rogue. He poured a flagon right here on my head once. This was Yorick's skull, the king's jester.
Well, this?
In that?
Well, let me see. Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him, Horatio. A fellow of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy. He hath borne me on his back 1,000 times, and now how abhorred in my imagination it is. My gorge rims at it. He hung those lips I have kissed I know not how oft. Where be your jibes now? Your gambols, your songs, your flashes of merriment that will want to set the table on a roar? Not one now to mock your own grinning? Quite chapfallen? Now, get you to my lady's chamber, and tell her, let her paint an in stick. To this favor she must come. Make her laugh at that. Prithee, Horatio, tell me one thing.
What is, my lord?
Dost thou think Alexander looked on this fashion?
Even so, my lord.
And smelt so? Ah!
Even so.
To what base uses we may return, Horatio. Alexander died. Alexander was buried. Alexander returneth into dust. Imperious Caesar, dead and turned to clay, might stop a hole to keep the window away. Soft, aside. Here comes the king and queen and courtiers. Who is this they follow, and with such maimed rites? This doth bespoke the course they follow, did with desperate hand fordo its own life. 'Twas of some estate. Couch we a while and mark.
Must there no more be done?
No more be done. We should profane the service of the dead to sing a requiem and such rest to hers, to peace-parted souls.
Lay her in the earth, and from her fair and unpolluted flesh may violets spring.
How now, the fair Ophelia!
Sweets to the sweet, farewell. I hoped thou shouldst have been my Hamlet's bride. I thought thy bride bed to have decked sweet maid, and not have strewed thy grave.
Oh, treble woe, fall 10 times treble on that cursed head, whose wicked deed thy most ingenious sense deprived thee of. Hold off the earth a while, till I have held her once more in mine arms. Now pile your dust upon the quickened dead, till of this flat a mountain you have made.
What is he whose grief bears such an emphasis? Whose phrase of sorrow conjures the wandering stars and makes them stand as wonder-wounded hearers? This is I, Hamlet the Day!
The devil take thy soul!
Praise not well! You take that Love Ophelia! 40,000 brothers could not with all their quantity of love make up my sum. What wouldst thou do with her? Be buried quick with her, and so will I. What is the reason that you use me thus? I loved you ever. But 'tis no matter. Let Hercules himself do it as he may. The cat will mew, and dog will have this day.
And pray you, good Horatio, wait upon him.
No.
Strengthen your patience in our last night's speech. We'll put the matter to the present push.
No.
Good Gertrude, go and set some watch over your son. This grave shall have a living monument. An hour of quiet shortly shall we see. Until then, in patience our proceeding be.
Up from my cabin, groped I in the dark to find out them, fingered their packet to unseal their grand commission, where I read, Horatio, an exact command that my head should be struck off.
What? Is it possible?
Here's the commission. Read it at more leisure, but wilt thou hear me how I did proceed?
Aye, good, my lord.
Thus being benetted round with villainies, I sat me down, devised a new commission, wrote it fair. Wilt thou know the effect of what I wrote?
Aye, I beseech you.
An earnest conjuration from the king. Huh? Upon the knowing and viewing of these contents, he should the bearers put to sudden death. I have my father's signet in my purse, which is the very model of that Danish seal, folded the writ up in form of the other, the changeling, never known.
So Rosencrantz and Guildenstern go to it.
Why, man, they did make love to this employment. They're not near my conscience. 'Tis dangerous when the baser nature comes between the pass and fell incensed points of mighty opposites.
Why? What is a king to this?
Does it not think thee stand me now upon? He that hath killed my king and whored my mother, thrown out his angle for my proper life, and with such cozenage, is it not conscience to quit him with this arm? Is it not to be damned to let this canker of our nature come in further evil?
Aye. It will be shortly known to him what is the issue of England in there.
It will be short. But I am sorry, Horatio, that to Laertes I forgot myself.
It's all right, my lord.
Peace. Who comes here?
Your lordship is right. Welcome back to Denmark.
I humbly thank you, sir. Dost know this waterfly?
No, my good lord.
Thy state is the more gracious. 'Tis a vice to know him.
Sweet lord, if your lordship were at leisure, I should impart a thing to you from his majesty.
I will embrace it, sir, with all diligence of spirit. Put your bonnet to its right use, 'tis for the head.
I thank your lordship. It is very hot.
No, believe me, 'tis very cold. The wind is northerly.
Oh, it is indifferent cold, my lord, indeed.
And yet methinks it is very hot and sultry for my complexion.
It is exceedingly hot, my lord. But I cannot tell how. But, my lord, His Majesty bade me signify to you that he has laid a great wager on your head. Sir, you are not ignorant of what excellence Laertes is. The king has laid that he shall not exceed you 3 hits. It would come to immediate trial if your lordship would vouchsafe the answer.
Sir, I will walk here in the hall. If it please His Majesty, 'tis the breathing time of day with me. Let the foils be brought. The gentleman willing, and the king hold his purpose. I will win for him, and I can. If not, I gain nothing but my own shame and the odd hits.
Shall I re-deliver you in so?
To this effect, sir, after what flourish your nature will.
I commend my duty to your lordship.
Yours.
It is very sultry.
You will lose this wager, my lord.
I think not. Since he went into France, I have been at continual practice. I will win at the odds. For thou would not think how ill all is about my heart. But 'tis no matter.
My good lord, if there is anything in your mind that you dislike, obey it.
Not a whit. We defy augury. If it be now, it is not to come. If it be not to come, it will be now. If it be not now, yet it will come. The readiness is all.
Come, Hamlet, come. Take this hand from me.
Give me your pardon, sir. I've done you wrong. But pardon it, as you are a gentleman.
I do receive your offered love like love, and will not wrong it.
I embrace it freely. And will this brother's wager frankly play? Give us the foils, come.
Now, come, one for me.
Young Osric, give them the foils. Cousin Hamlet, you know the wager?
I do, my lord. Your grace hath laid the odds on the weaker side.
I do not fear it, for I have seen you both. But since he's bettered, we have, therefore, odds. If Hamlet give the first or second hit, or acquit in answer to the third exchange, let all the battlements their ordnances fire. The king shall drink to Hamlet's better breath, and in the cup an union shall he throw, richer than that which 4 successive kings in Denmark's crown have worn. The king now dunks to Hamlet. Come, begin, and you, the judges, bear a wary eye.
Come, sir.
Come, my lord. No!
A hit, a very palpable hit.
Well, again.
Stay, give me drink. Hamlet, this pearl is thine, to your health. Take him the cup.
I'll play this bout first. Set it by a while.
What?
A hit. What say you?
A touch, I do confess.
Our son shall win.
He is fat and scant of breath. Here, Hamlet, take my napkin, rub thy brows. The queen carouses to thy fortune, Hamlet.
Good madam.
Gertrude, do not drink.
Pray you, pardon me, I will, my lord.
Oh, 'tis the poisoned cup. It's too late.
I did not drink yet, madam, by and by.
Let me wipe thy face.
My lord, I'll hit him now.
I do not think it.
And yet 'tis almost against my conscience.
Come for the third, Laertes. You but dally. I pray you, pass with your best violence. I'm afraid you make a wanton of me.
Oh, say you so? Come on!
Nothing either
No! Heavens, no!
They are incensed!
Oh, you!
Hamlet, no! No!
Stop.
Don't! Go!
On both sides! First, my lord! How does it bleed?
No!
She swans to see them bleed!
Drink! Oh, my sweet son! I am poisoned!
Oh, villainy! Oh, let the door be locked! Treachery, seek it out!
It is here, Hamlet! Hamlet, thou art slain. No medicine in the world can do thee good. And there's not half an hour of life. The treacherous instrument is in thy hand. Unbaited and envenomed, the foul practice hath lain me here low. Here I lie, never to rise again. Thy mother is poisoned. I can no more. The king's to blame!
The point!
No!
And venom too! Then venom, do thy work! Here, thou murderous, incessant, damn the dead! Drink off this potion! Is thy union here? Follow my mother, serpent!
He is justly served. It is a poison tempered by himself. Exchange forgiveness with me, noble Hamlet. Mine and my father's deaths come not on thee, nor thine on me.
Heaven make thee free of it. I follow thee. Wretched queen. Adieu. Horatio, I am dead. Thou livest. Report me, and my cause aright to the unsatisfied. Oh, Horatio, if ever thou didst hold me in thy heart, draw thy breath in pain to tell my story. Oh, what warlike noise is this?
Young Fortinbras with conquest comes from Poland. To the ambassadors of England gives this warlike folly.
Ah, I die, Horatio. The potent poison quite accrows my spirit. The rest is silence. Now cracks a noble heart. Good night, sweet prince. And let angels sing thee to thy rest. Why does the drum come hither?
Where is this sight?
Cease your search, if aught of woe and wonder.
This quarry cries on havoc.
Give order that these bodies be placed high on the stage to the view, so that I may yet speak to an unknowing world about how these events came about.
Let 3 captains bear Hamlet like a soldier to the stage. Take up the bodies. Such a sight as this becomes the field, but here shows much amiss. Go, bid the soldiers to shoot.
Yes. Oh,
It
you
was
guys
so
have
fun.
You have any
It was so fun! I love it so much!
Fun.
It was. Thank you, Justin. Thank you,
Yes.
Tina. Like,
That was amazing.
Man, you guys were always put in so much awesome work into every show you touch. You do.
So good.
I'm amazed that everyone remembered their lines, and there's so much dialogue in this play.
Absolutely.
Incredible.
That's what they do.
I love it.
I have a question.
Oh, yes, Melissa.
May I ask a question? The costumes for Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, what was the thought behind that? I mean, when they first came out, I got this whole like Tweedledee, Tweedledum kind of thing. I don't know if that's what you were going for, but that's what I got. So what their costumes seem to be. There seemed to be some extra thought there, so I'd like to know what was going on. What were you going for?
I think that's what we landed on. Gosh, it's been a year, so I'm pretty sure that's what we landed on, though. Just because they have some shared dialogue, and I was like, and we kind of were going with some of the actions that we're doing was very mirrored and shared. So I think Jonathan came in and saw our first run through. And I think that's what he started seeing, and that's where he went with it. So he kind of went with that. And they're kind of morons too, which kind of works for Tweedledee, Tweedledum. Like they're like the smartest morons of Shakespeare. So I think that's kind of where we landed. So that they're just, they're part of the same coin, just different sides.
Love it. It was great. You could that they were a package, but they were also interchangeable. Like they were. Yeah, it was great. And I also have a question about the set. So it's all white. The panels are white, and then there's like all the graffiti and the painting and everything. What did you do each night?
Their bed sheet.
Just put up a new sheet? Did you just like staple it on? Like how does that work?
We would rip them down every night, and then Ian had them already pre-cut for like the whole entire run, so we just restapled them back on.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's great.
And he had to redo the picture too, so that was on a bed sheet as well.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
that. He created a stencil of Skillern, and he would recreate that for each show as well, so he could.
That's so cool. Who has that stencil? Please tell me that Skillern got like a copy of it or something.
Actually, what's really funny is at work we just did like a bless each other cast member day. So Ian still has the stencil, and I think he's doing it this weekend. He's spraying it on some canvas for Skillern, and he's spraying it purple for his Prince room.
Cool.
I don't know if he got it yet, but yeah, I'm pretty sure Ian said he still had it.
Cool.
Very cool. It was great. It was wonderful. I enjoyed it very much. And yeah, Karis, I'm sorry, you running out, doing your bow and running off real quick. That was dumb. That was my biggest complaint. I'm like,
that's my little bow.
You are like you were so great. Like you go out there, you take your time with your bow, and then you move on. But girl,
killed it.
Okay, I'll slow it down next time just for you, Melissa.
It was great. It was wonderful. I didn't get to see this last year because of my legend schedule. Like I never had a night off. So I'm really glad that this happened because I heard about it obviously through Tina because we were basically attached at the hip last year. So I heard all about it. I'd seen the pictures, I'd seen the promo material, and I knew it was going to be good, and especially with the cast and the direction and everything that was going on. But it was really, really cool to see it. And what's really interesting about it is that it was so minimalistic, but it didn't feel like it. Like you didn't have these huge set pieces. You didn't have these elaborate costumes. You didn't need anything like that, but everything was very purposeful. Nothing was extra, but there was nothing lacking either. It was very impressive and so a skill that's so needed in theater.
Right. Well, I feel like the fact that our actors are so amazing. I mean, Josh and Karis, amazing. Like, amazing. You guys blew my mind. And every performance and every time I would watch a rehearsal, like I am just blown away by your talent and ability. But not only that, but your willingness just to jump in and help in any capacity. You're just amazing to work with, seriously. Super
Yeah,
fun.
every year didn't happen without you guys.
No, it didn't. Yeah.
It just wouldn't have happened without you guys.
No. The songs.
Yeah, I had a blast doing it. Oh my goodness.
And it was a solid rehearsal process too. Like, I don't think there was ever a point where we were like, wow, it never felt like we were behind. It just every single day it felt like we were on schedule, and the piece arrived probably early. I remember there was just a day I was like, wow, we're 4 days out and I think we've already arrived, which is really great. So everybody was super comfortable opening night, and yeah, and it showed, just through the every performance night. I was like, great, awesome, cool. Yeah. Like, if the worst thing that happened, I think there was like one night there was like one page that was almost skipped. I won't say who it was, but I remember that was not even the most mild thing that happened. So, yeah.
But I think it's amazing though, the people you end up working with, like, because when you're working with different casts, you have sometimes you have these casts, they're just on it, like they're ready to rock, and they come in prepared, and then sometimes you work with people and you're like, oh, I hope this will be okay. But it just depends on your cast, and that cast was solid. But again, I mean, especially with Karis and Josh carrying a bulk of it, like, and knowing that they are rock stars, they're going to come in 100% off book, knowing their stuff. I mean, it just makes the process so much easier, where you can have that time to be creative. That's what I love about it. Instead of worrying about, are they going to know their lines? Like, they can actually hone the craft.
Yeah, there was definitely days, like, Karis, when by the time we were on schedule for you to do the Suicide, we took like an hour of you and I just working beforehand, because we just had the time to do it, and we were able to just craft the artistic process a little bit more like fluent, and it wasn't so rigid where we had to do things like do it now and do it hard, but like we took our time really exploring stuff, and we got to do surprise rehearsals where we got to work on stuff, and we're like, cool, let's work on this. Like, for the Suicide scene, we worked together, and then we're like, cool, let's bring the other actors in, and then I'm going to set them up, and then let's run the scene and see what everybody thinks. And that makes the process just more fun, just overall, because you get to surprise the other actors with some of the crazier stuff that happens in the scene work. That was, because, Josh, we worked with all the painting stuff beforehand, just us and Kristen, and then we're like, cool, everybody's going to see this, I guess, when we get to the park. So it's fun to kind of piece all that really more intricate stuff together that's really dynamic, and people get to experience it for the first time, even though they're in the show.
Yeah. It seems like you guys had a lot of trust. You guys trusted your people. The music with Skillern, that was cool. And also, like, you knew that he was talented. You guys all know you guys are all talented, but that you trusted him enough to make sure that the music he was going to produce and make and all that was going to fit the show just right. I don't know. That sounds kind of scary to me, but it worked out so amazing. There's a lot of trust that goes into that, because you're not composing stuff for them. You're saying, hey, we're going to trust you with this project, and we're just going to.
And he was doing stuff as, like, we were going along, too. Like, he was kind of going, like, week by week as we were blocking the show. He's like, what do you need for this scene? What do you need for this? And we were started plugging it in as we went, which was pretty cool. And I don't think I never asked him to really redo anything.
Oh, and the ghost thing was awesome.
Yeah. It's so good.
It's terrifying.
For the first time. I've never seen it. Besides when I was first directing it. I was like, cool.
No, it's good. It's just such a great show. It worked out so well. And I was thankful that we were actually able to do all 4 nights, because when we did Romeo and Juliet, we had that rain out night. And so it was just nice to have 4 shows, because you just don't know weather's going to do. So
Yeah.
that was really awesome that we got 4 solid nights out of it. So it was great.
I thought it was great to hear the crickets in the background too, and the sound of nature. It kind of like gave this soft background to the whole production, and it was the whole environment was just awesome and cool.
I loved it. Makes you feel
Definitely
like
a gem.
To have this show to be outside, the sun setting, and like, you know, even that just light ambiance to affect the show more than Midsummer or Romeo and Juliet, that, you know, things are getting darker as you go along.
part of the storytelling, and
Yeah.
it's really cool. Yeah.
Happy accidents in a sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Were you saying the lines along as you watched it, Josh?
Every time I watch Hamlet, like any kind of version, since this is my second time doing it, and I just, you know, absolutely, and we had to read it this year, and then I got to listen to. I wasn't in the show for my class, wasn't in the Hamlet, but then they did it and such, and so every single time I hear it, I can't but not do the monologues along with it.
Funny, Tommy was doing some of the monologues. he was going along with it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, Tommy. You can be in the sequel. Hamlet 2.
Hamlet 2.
There's a movie. There's a movie
There is a
Hamlet 2.
movie.
It's very different and it's very raunchy. But it's hilarious. Very, very crass, but it's hilarious. Tommy, you can be in it.
Sign him up. He'd be ready. Oh, I'm glad you guys all came out and we could watch it together. It was fun.
My pleasure to watch it. Oh my goodness.
I'm so glad to see you, Tom. How are you?
We're doing good. We're doing good. It's a little-
Congratulations, by the way, on being a real estate agent. That's
yeah,
amazing.
thanks. Just had my first closing, so woo.
Oh yeah. It's awesome.
On houses.
Yes.
Amazing.
That's awesome.
Exciting.
It's
And I
different.
just want to say thank you guys for putting this together. I really appreciate it. I wasn't able to see it live, so this was awesome getting a chance to see it.
Thanks, Holly.
I'm so glad you came on to watch.
Well, we're going to share this again with everyone on Facebook and online so that those who weren't able to watch it live tonight will still have a chance to see it. But all your comments will be included, and much appreciated. And since we couldn't do it live, another production this summer, this was a great option. And I can't wait till next year, and hopefully we'll be able to do something equally as fantastic. But that was really an incredible production, you guys. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks, Jim.
Thanks,
for
guys.
getting this all organized. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for sharing.
All right. Well, you have a wonderful evening.
You
And we'll
too.
see you all soon, we hope.
Yes.
Yeah.
I miss you
Come back.
guys.
Good to see you guys.
Bye.
Come back, Boulden.